So hi, my name is Kai Grant. I'm 44 and I am the Executive Director of Diamond Girls Boston Incorporated, and this is my story. My program, which is a not-for-profit for young women, is driven by raising funds. And basically I decided to run half of the marathon for the past 3 years. So I symbolically start from Wellesley College, which is an all-girls institution, and I run 13.1 miles all the way to the finish line. So it was definitely more of a fundraiser and something that kind of has become a tradition. And this past year, 2013, we deemed it was called basically a third time is a charm. And this was supposed to be my third and final race. So I'm glad you asked, and this is not always the easiest subject for me to talk about, but I know that this could help someone else understand and kind of get an idea of what it's like to be able to go through something like this. It was a gorgeous day. It was about 50 degrees. It was like perfect for running. It was sunny and the wind was behind us. So it was almost like the wings of God were just carrying us as we ran. And, I basically, think about Wellesley and how symbolic it is as an all-girls Ivy League institution, and how I want to see a pipeline from Roxbury, where my girls are based, to Wellesley one day. And I think about those things symbolically as I run, and it's always a touching moment starting from that point. Had my hair tied back, and off I went with my iPhone, and that was all I needed. I started taking pictures every mile. So from 13.1 to the 12th mile to the 11th mile. I took some video footage because, the people of Newton and Wellesley and Newton and then Alston and Brighton and Brookline and then Boston, they all have this camaraderie and you feel like you're one with them. And I tell you, when you feel like you don't want to go any further, that's when they're cheering you on, and there's water on the side and orange slices and banana chunks, and you just feel like you're a part of such a wonderful, incredible Boston event that's historic. It's historically rooted. It's something that's gone on for over 100 years, and you feel like we are Boston strong. I left Wellesley at 12 p.m. noon, and basically got to Kenmore Square at about 2:45. And so I was trending to make my race a 3-hour race. And the years prior to that, it was more like 4, 5, 6 hours even. And so when I get to Kenmore Square, which is literally not, a mile out from Copley Square, I'm texting and I'm letting, people know that I'm at Kenmore. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And so when you get to Kenmore, it's a rush. I mean, the first thing you see before you get to Kenmore is that sicko sign, which is the quintessential, symbol for the city of Boston. You're in Fenway Park. You're near everything about Boston. Boston University is there, and you are just feeling your stride. And something hit me after I left Kenmore Square, and I started to go on Commonwealth Avenue underneath the underpass before you take a right onto Hereford. Something hit me and told me to stop. And I stopped, and I said, and I said to myself, I want to finish really strong. Like this is my opportunity to really come in and be able to, make some really, really good strides at the very end of my race and finish strongly. And so I stopped right underneath the underpass, and I changed my music, and I put on a song you know, that really was something motivating to me. It's a reggae song called "You're Trying to Conquer Me." And so I'm, you know, thinking about all of those things that try to conquer my girls, you know, the molestation, the rape, you know, the abuse from family members and the bullying from, you know, people in the community and peers, and, you know, the gun running and the drug running for boyfriends. And, you know, I'm thinking about all the things that my girls have gone through, all the things that I've gone through and conquered in my life. And, you know, all I know is that the enemy is not going to conquer me. And that's why I chose that song to run through Hereford to Boylston. You know, I turn that monumental corner, which is always like a sign that you're almost there. And, you know, I remember the cheering, and all you hear are cowbells, you know, all you hear are whistles, all you hear, you know, is an overwhelming sound of support and of victory. That's what you hear. That's all you see. It's what you smell. It is, you know, one of the best feelings in the world. You feel like the truest Bostonian you could ever be when you run that marathon. And as a child, I used to go to the marathon and watch it. I mean, it's just part of the tradition, especially growing up part of my life in the South End. So I get on Boylston and I'm running, and John, the Heinz Convention Center is on my right, and I'm running, and I get up to the actual doorway where the Prudential Center's escalators are. And I keep running past that, and I get to the Mac store, and boom, all you hear is this magnanimous, just incredibly loud, almost cannon-like sound. You want to think that someone has shot a cannon off. So, you know, it's a part of the celebratory reason of the marathon and people finishing. And I thought to myself, you know, why is there so much smoke coming from that area on the left? Because you could see it just down the road. I'm literally a couple of 100 feet away from the finish line. And then about 10 seconds later, another boom. And at that point, you knew something was wrong. And even at the inception of the first explosion, it felt like something was wrong, but you just didn't want to admit it. And it stopped us dead in our tracks. And I'm with other runners. At this point, all of the real runners, and I'm not going to say real runners, I'm going to say all of the professional runners, because I'm a real runner and I've accepted that and embraced it. But all of the professional runners have finished this race. So now it's about charity runners, and that's what we all are. So we're running, and the woman next to me and I stop, and we're just like, what is going on? And when the second bomb goes off, that's when I know. And, you know, I'm literally in tears just saying, no, oh my God, what is happening? Because there's just so much chaos at this point, and all you see are people running towards us. And there are the Jersey barriers on the side. So, you know, all you have are either people that have escaped harm's way running towards us, other runners, or people streaming on the sides, running away. So it was really a moment of terror. It was a moment of, you know, you had no idea what was going on. You were swept up in, you know, people running with shredded clothes, with bloody limbs. And, you know, I personally, you know, I went to go and search for my husband ended up calling me a few seconds later when the phones went back up and told me to run the opposite way. And of course, I'm not always the obedient wife, and I'm not going to live without my man. So I go and I have to literally jump the barrier. Some guys help me to get over, and I'm running through the crowd because I know where they are. And so I need to be with him. And that's all I could think of. And he's telling me, run as fast as you can, Kai. Go, just run. And I'm like, Chris, but what's happening? What is going on? Because I can see everything clear as day, but it's so much smoke and so much chaos that you have no idea what literally went on. I felt very unfulfilled. I wasn't able to finish my race. I felt robbed. I felt angry. I felt as though, I felt guilty for not losing limbs and not losing my life, for surviving. And, at times I have very emotional moments, and at times I'm strong as an oak. And, all I can say is that I'm here. And it's by the grace of God, and it's because I know I have more work to do, not just for my Diamond Girls program, but for the community at large, and the kingdom of God's sake. I actually do not credit and say that it's God's favor. I don't think that that's fair, because let me just share the reason why. Because that little boy from Dorchester who died, I would never say that he didn't have God's favor on his life, and I did. So what I say is, it wasn't my time. It was not my time. And I have more to do here on this earth. And for me, it was a wake-up call. For my husband, wake-up call. My board members, my sister, my cousin, it was a time of shaking in our lives, and for us to get serious about doing the work of the kingdom and not living our lives in vain. I think that for me, the best thing that I can do to heal is to serve, and continue doing, and continue living, and continue using my legs, and working out, and taking ballet up again, and roller skating, and running, and weightlifting, and appreciating what I have. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And tomorrow's not promised. You never know when your time is. So I think my healing comes from being grateful that I see another day, being grateful that my husband is still here with me. And, healing is something that takes time. It's not going to be an instant, automatic, just pookie dust, kind of wave a wand over it type of ordeal. It's something that takes time, and it's something that I think, for me, happens through action. We have a specified amount of time on this earth to get certain things accomplished. And by the grace of God and through the strength of Christ, we're able to do so. And so I would say, just do it. Just do it. God is able to provide all of our needs according to his riches in Christ. And I truly believe that if we have something that we need to accomplish in life, it needs to be done right now.